so much of what the previous, can you hear me? Not too loud. I'm used to talking to a class. So I better not talk like that loud.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you hear me now? Okay. Everything that your congressional state house candidate said about the schools, I certainly agree with, as well as many of the other things that don't have to do with the position that I'm running for. The State Board of Education decides on the curriculum, on the textbooks, and on the spending of the finances that accrue from original money invested by the state. And my opponent, Gail Dole from Lampasas County, has served on the board since 2000. There was no opponent in the race last time, and when I saw some of the decisions that she has made and went to her website, I decided that she needed to have an opponent this time around. I have always been involved in education. I come from a long line of teachers and preachers, and my mother, my grandmother were elementary school teachers up in Iowa. I have been county chair of Denton County. I was county chair from February '03 until May of '06, and during that time we created our first permanent office and our own computers, starting out with a $75 used model. We now have 4, not used. I was a faculty member at the University of North Texas until I retired in 2002, largely because there were a number of other things, including politics, I wanted to be able to spend more time on. I majored in education and library science at Iowa State Teachers College, now the University of Northern Iowa. I have a master's in library from Columbia University and a doctorate in comparative literature from the University of Southern California, and worked my way through all of those degrees. I have worked in teachers' colleges in Oregon and in Maryland. Been a campus school librarian where I did work with the children, and have held a number of positions in various professional groups, human rights organizations at local, state, and national levels. I have a slogan run business on the side. Maybe some of you who've been to the state convention have seen it. We always say that we have something there to annoy everybody, including ourselves. Oh, and over there at that chair, nodding at me or shaking his head, is my husband, Tom Kane. We've been married 15 years. The 3 things that I consider the most important issues in the school board right now is that, first of all, local school boards know a lot more about their districts than the state does, and we need to return more of the local control to the local school districts and the people who live there. Secondly, Texas should not be penalizing school districts that have more children from lower socioeconomic levels and therefore tend to do poorer on the state tests. I could see in my own college teaching how much worse the students were that had been through those years of state teaching than the ones I had previously who had learned to think for themselves, not to consider education as a high-stakes game of trivial pursuit, where you do nothing but memorize facts. And finally, this state and this nation should not be considering the destruction of the public school system. And it's getting down so that some conservative groups talk about school vouchers and doing away with all property tax, or at least some of the property tax that is used for schools. In 2003, Texas was 37th in the country in education, and 2/3 of the graduates of our high schools went on to college. In 2007, we are 49th, and only a quarter of our graduating seniors last year went on to college, largely because of the finances. You look at the way that the tuition has risen, both in the state colleges and in the community colleges, because that has been removed by the state. And I do wish candidates for the state legislature that will support education all the luck in the world. There are other issues that will be coming up I won't get a chance to vote on. One of them is abstinence-only education. Gail Lowe is very proud of that. I think how well it works is shown by the fact Texas has the highest percentage of teenage births in the country. Like Dr. Phil says, how's it working for you? And the other issue that won't be coming up, but I wish I could vote on, is whether we should be teaching intelligent design in the schools, and whether the textbooks in high school science courses should include this. People are certainly have a right to their beliefs, but intelligent design is a belief, not science. While I've never been in science, I have been interested in science all my life. And I, 30 years ago, was reading books in science fiction that were predicting the kind of things that are happening now with all the jobs being mechanized and being outsourced. I've been thinking about that kind of thing for a long time. And I think that we need to teach real science to our students, the kind of science that will help us achieve the kind of position that we need to in the world, with our students being innovative and creative, not memorizing facts so that they can do drudge work. Anybody got any questions for me, since you don't know me? Okay, thank you.